Hello students, welcome in our today's lecture. We are discussing our topic enhancement for food production, and in this the last part that we are going to study today is the role of microbes as a biofertilizer. In our previous lecture, we have seen the role of microbes in the various fields like the sewage treatment, biogas formation, biocontrol agent, in the food preparation. But the last part that we are going to discuss is the role of microbes as a biofertilizer. All of you know the term of fertilizer. Fertilizers are the nutrients which when we add in the soil, it automatically increases the yield of the crop. So fertilizers are nothing but the nutrients which are used for increasing the yield of the crop. So application of the fertilizers in the field is one of the part of the green revolution. Green revolution is a term which is used. That means this green revolution is include the various facts which are employed for the increasing the yield of the crop. Various methods are used for increasing the yield of the crop, and in that use of fertilizer is one of the important method applied in the branch of green revolution. But these fertilizers which we use to increase our crop yield, these fertilizers are nothing but the nutrients, and these fertilizers are of two types. Those are called as the organic fertilizers, and the another type is called as inorganic fertilizers. So fertilizers which are generally applied for increasing the yield of the crop is of two types: organic fertilizers and inorganic fertilizers. Organic fertilizers are nothing but the biofertilizers where there is a use of living organism, particularly microbes are there which can be applied in our field for increasing the growth of the plant. Okay, so organic farming, that is organic fertilizer, means the use of live organism, microorganism, that is called as organic fertilizer. While inorganic fertilizers means there is use of the chemicals. There is a use of the chemicals which generally applied or dusted on the crop, on the plant for increasing their yield. Okay, so nowadays there is a more demand for the organic fertilizer or for the organic farming, because there is a use of these living organisms. Particularly three kind of living organisms are used. For example, bacteria, algae, and or we may call as a cyanobacteria, that is called as the blue green algae, and fungi. These are the microbes commonly used as a biofertilizers or living organisms. Then inorganic fertilizers are nothing but the chemicals which are the synthetic ones. These chemicals are the synthetic preparation. So these chemicals are nothing but it is the synthetic preparation. It is a synthetic preparation which has the definite proportion of the minerals like NPK, and that minerals in a definite proportion get applied on the field. Nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium, these are the three important components of the chemical fertilizers generally applied on the field. So this is the difference between the organic fertilizers and the inorganic fertilizers. Inorganic fertilizers means there is a use of the chemicals, while organic fertilizer means there is a use of the living organisms, biological organisms. Okay, but nowadays farmers face different problems due to use of these inorganic fertilizers, because these fertilizers cause the pollution of air, pollution of the soil, as well as the pollution of the underground water. Okay, so by the application of this chemical fertilizer or inorganic fertilizer, there will be pollution of air, pollution of the soil, pollution of the underground water, as well as pollution of the water like the lakes, streams, rivers, etc. Due to which more farmers get used of this biofertilizer. Not only these chemical fertilizers cause the pollution of air, water, soil, but they also make the soil acidic. Due to the continuous application of the chemical fertilizer, soil become acidic, and such a soil cannot grow a large crops having the large yield. So there is now a switch on of this organic farming or the organic biofertilizer. Okay, by using the biofertilizer when farming is carried out, then it is called as the organic farming. Okay, mainly the bacteria, blue green algae, which is called as cyanobacteria, and the fungi are commonly employed as a biofertilizer. Okay, now see here, in the market we have the culture of this bacteria, blue green algae and fungi. So there is a commercial preparation of this biofertilizer. We have to just buy that culture and we have to spread it on our plant in the field to increase their growth, to increase their development. Okay, so there is a commercial production of this bacteria, algae, blue green algae and fungi, which is available in the market, which is in the form of culture. It is in the liquid form, which is mixed in the water, and that can be applied in our field for increasing our crops yield. Okay, now here we have to see that there are again three types of the organic fertilizers or the organic farmings will be carried out. And which are those three types? The three types are, first one is called as farm yard manure. Farm yard manure. Second one is called as green manure. And third one is called as compost manure. So these are the three types of the fertilizers which are available in the form of farmyard manure, green manure and the compost manure. Okay, now what is the meaning of farmyard manure? What is the meaning of farmyard manure? Farmyard manure means the manure which is formed in the farm. Or for example, we can say that dung of cattle mixed with urine is called as a farmyard manure. Dung of cattle mixed with urine or is called as the farmyard manure. Okay. Second type is called as the green manure. Green manure means there are some crops which remain after their harvesting from the field, and such a plant which remain in that field degrade, decompose and they form the manure that is called as a green manure. म्हणजे फॉर एक्झाम्पल तुम्हाला मी सांगते पहा, भुईमुग म्हणजे आपण जे म्हणतो ग्राउंड नट्स कल्टिवेशन झाल्यानंतर जेव्हा ग्राउंड नट डेव्हलप होतात तेव्हा ग्राउंड नट काढून त्याचं जे रोपटं आहे, प्लांट आहे, तसंच शेतामध्ये फेकून दिलं जातं आणि ते त्या शेतामध्ये काय करतं, डिकम्पोज होतं आणि ते मॅन्युअर त्या क्रॉपला किंवा त्या पर्टिक्युलरली फील्डमध्ये ॲड करतं. दॅट इज कॉल्ड ॲज अ ग्रीन मॅन्युअर. म्हणजे अशा अनेक पिकं आहेत की ज्यांचं कल्टिवेशन केल्यानंतर त्यांचा राहिलेला पार्ट तसाच त्या प्लांटचा शेतामध्ये टाकून दिला जातो आणि त्या शेतामध्ये त्याचं डिकम्पोजिशन होऊन ते plant manure supply करता. That is called as the green manure. And the last one is called as a compost manure. Compost means a natural process where any plant material which is present in the that particular field, which when remain there, it get compost, it get degraded by different microbes from the soil as well as different fungi, and they add again the fertilizer in that field, that is called as the compost manure. So these are the three types of the manure, these are three types of fertilizer which can we add in the field for increasing the yield of the crop, and those are farmyard manure, green manure and the compost manure. Okay, so you have to remember that there are three types of the organic fertilizer, or there are three types of the biofertilizers. Those are farmyard manure, green manure and the compost manure. Okay, now here we will discuss that these biofertilizers which has important role nowadays is very effective, it is very cheap, it is not costly, it is eco-friendly, it maintains the balance of our nature because it do not cause the pollution of any system on the land. That means it is not harmful to water, air, soil, as well as it is eco-friendly, it is useful to the human being, it has not any drawback like the inorganic fertilizer or the chemical fertilizer. So today it is used in our field for increasing the growth of our crop, okay, growth of our plant which are growing in the field. Okay, so here we will discuss some of the biofertilizers, mainly which microorganisms are involved in the increasing the yield of crop. In that we have to see that there are some N2 fixing microorganisms, that means nitrogen fixing microorganisms are there. There are some phosphate solubilizing microorganisms are there, some cyanobacteria are there, some fungi are there, and all these microorganisms are used as a biofertilizer. So we will see one by one the different microorganisms and how they carry their role for the fertilizer in the field. So in this we will discuss first the role of N2 fixing microorganisms. The role of N2 fixing microorganisms. So first point is that here we will discuss first nitrogen fixing biofertilizer. Nitrogen fixing biofertilizer. Here I will write first examples of it. Okay. Now see here, N2 fixing means nitrogen fixing biofertilizer. We have seen the meaning of biofertilizer. Bio means living organism which are used as a fertilizer in the field. So they are called as a biofertilizer. So there are some microorganisms which has ability to fix atmospheric nitrogen, because atmospheric nitrogen cannot be used directly by the plant for their growth and development. So that atmospheric nitrogen first gets converted into the easily available form to the plant, and those forms are called as nitrites and nitrates through ammonia. Nitrites and nitrates through ammonia. That means atmospheric nitrogen gets converted into nitrites and nitrates through ammonia by this microorganism which are called as a N2 fixing microorganism. So nitrites and nitrates through ammonia means what? This atmospheric nitrogen with the help of the enzymes by these microorganisms get converted into ammonia first, and then that ammonia get converted into the nitrites and nitrates. So here the sentence is given that atmospheric nitrogen gets converted into nitrates and nitrates through ammonia by this microorganism. So the microorganism which are responsible for fixing the nitrogen of the atmosphere, those microorganisms are called as diazoautotrophs. So there will be question for one sentence. What is mean by diazotrophs? Diazotrophs means microorganisms which are capable of conversion of atmospheric nitrogen into the easy form of the nitrogen, like nitrites and nitrates are called as the diazoautotrophs. They are called as the diazoautotrophs. Again, these N2 fixing microorganisms can be classified into two types. Those are the symbiotic N2 fixing microorganism, and other type is called as free living or the non-symbiotic N2 fixing microbes. So these biofertilizers which are called as a nitrogen fixing biofertilizers are again of two types. One is called as symbiotic N2 fixer किंवा N2 fixing microorganism, and other one is called as non-symbiotic or free living. Okay, see here the difference is that symbiotic end-to-fixing microorganism means those microorganisms which has always association with other organism. With the help of other organism they can fix atmospheric nitrogen. Those are called as symbiotic. While the free living or the non-symbiotic end-to-fixers has do not association with any other organism, they independently can fix atmospheric nitrogen. Those are called as the non-symbiotic or the free living end-to-fixer. So here these symbiotic end-to-fixer always present with the roots of the underground part of the plant. Okay, so always they have the association with the roots of the plants, and with the help of that roots of the plant they can fix atmospheric nitrogen. But here they do not have any association with other organism, other plants, and so they are called as the free living or the non-symbiotic. Here the important thing is that along with definition of the symbiotic end-to-fixation and non-symbiotic end-to-fixation, we have to mention or we have to remember the important examples of the symbiotic end-to-fixer and the non-symbiotic end-to-fixer. So here the important examples of symbiotic end-to-fixer is that Rhizobium, it is the name of the bacteria. Okay, Anabaena is the cyanobacteria, and one another cyanobacteria that is called as the Frankia. Okay, here the examples of non-symbiotic is Azotobacter, then Clostridium, Nostoc, Klebsiella, and last one is that Bergeringia. Okay, so students, see here these are the examples of symbiotic and the non-symbiotic end-to-fixing microorganism. Rhizobium is the bacteria, Anabaena is the blue green algae, Frankia is blue green algae. These are the microbes which has always association with the roots of the plant. That's why they are included in the symbiotic end-to-fixation, and with the help of their root they can fix atmospheric nitrogen and convert it into nitrites and nitrates. While the Azotobacter is again the type of bacteria, Clostridium is the name of bacteria, Nostoc is the blue green algae, Klebsiella is a bacteria, Bergeringia is a bacteria. All these microbes are included in the non-symbiotic end-to-fixation. So here you have to remember one or more example for theory, as well as you have to know that which microbes are called as non-symbiotic and which are called as symbiotic. So there is a list of the symbiotic and the non-symbiotic microbes. So here we have seen first the type of biofertilizer that is called as a nitrogen fixing microorganism, that is called as end-to-fixing biofertilizer. In that we have seen that the microbes which are involved in the nitrogen fixation are called as the diazoautotrophs. They are of two types, symbiotic nitrogen fixer and the non-symbiotic or the free living nitrogen fixer. Okay, then the second type of microbes which are used as a biofertilizers, and those are called as the phosphate solubilizing biofertilizer. Phosphate solubilizing, because they are involved in the solubilization of the phosphate. So second category of microbes is called as phosphate solubilizing biofertilizer. Here again we have to remember the examples of these biofertilizers, and in that we have to see the examples. So here I will write first example, Pseudomonas. Example, Pseudomonas striata. Second example is Bacilla polymixa. Agrobacterium. Aspergillus. And last one is called as Microcosmos. coccus. So see here, second type of microorganism which has role of solubilization of the phosphate. Solubilization of the phosphate, and that's why they are called as phosphate solubilizing biofertilizer. Then what is meant by solubilization of phosphate? So all these names which are written on the board are the bacterial names. Okay, so these are the bacterial species. Which one? Pseudomonas striata, Bacillus polymyxa, Agrobacterium, Aspergillus and Micrococcus. All these are bacterial species which are mainly involved for the solubilization of the, that means here insoluble inorganic phosphate get converted into the soluble form of the phosphate by this bacteria. For example, there is a rock phosphate. In the rock, दगडो म्हणून आपण मोठमोठी दगड जे असतात त्याच्यामध्ये फॉस्फेट असतो, बट दिस फॉस्फेट इज प्रेझेंट इन दॅट रॉक इन द फॉर्म ऑफ इनसोल्युबल. ओके, सो दॅट फॉस्फेट get converted into the soluble form with the help of this bacterial species, and such a phosphate which is in the form of insoluble form in the rock gets added with the help of this bacteria into the soluble form in the soil. And again, when the plants grow in the soil, they can easily use the soluble form of the phosphate which is present in that soil. म्हणजे इथं काय सांगायचं आहे, रॉक मध्ये इनसोल्युबल फॉर्म मध्ये जो फॉस्फेट आहे त्याचं कन्व्हर्शन सोल्युबल फॉर्म मध्ये करण्याचं काम या बॅक्टेरियल स्पीसीज करतात, आणि मग तो सोल्युबल फॉस्फेट परत कुठे मिक्स होतो, इन द सॉइल, अँड अगेन इट गेट अवेलेबल टू द रूट्स ऑफ द प्लांट विच ग्रो इन दॅट सॉइल. Okay, so here the role of bacteria is conversion of insoluble phosphate into the soluble phosphate, because phosphate is one of the important nutrient which is required for growth of the plant. If this bacteria is not there, then this insoluble phosphate cannot get mixed into the soluble or cannot get converted into the soluble form, and it cannot get mixed into the soil. Okay, so the role of this bacteria is very important because they can make available that soluble phosphate to the plants which can grow there. Okay, so this is the second type of the microorganism which acts as a biofertilizer. Because why they are called as biofertilizer? Because that phosphate is very important for the growth of that particular plant, growth of that particular crop, and that can be made available to that crop only by this bacteria. So they are called as a biofertilizer. So second type of biofertilizer is phosphate solubilizing biofertilizer. Okay, now the third type of biofertilizer or the third type of microorganism which gives higher yield in the crop by their activity, and those are called as the compost making biofertilizer. Compost making biofertilizer, and in that there are different examples that we'll discuss. First, those are, for example, bacteria, fungi, rotifers, then actinobacteria and protozoa. Actinobacteria and protozoa. Okay, see here, compost making biofertilizer means the microorganism which has written on the board, including bacteria, fungi, rotifer, actinobacteria and protozoa. All of you know the term bacteria, all of you know the term fungi, but what is meant by rotifers? Rotifers are the small aquatic animals. So it is an example of kingdom Animalia. Rotifers are the small aquatic animals which are generally food of the fishes in the aquatic environment. So rotifer is an example of aquatic animal. Actinobacteria, it is a type of bacteria which are generally gram positive. These bacteria are useful for the agriculture as well as for the forester, because it increases the yield by the composting. So these are present in the soil. Actinobacteria are present in the soil and important for the degradation or decomposition process. So here the name is given as actinobacteria. And the protozoa. Protozoa, all of you know the term protozoa. It is an example of the kingdom Protista, and amoeba, paramecium, euglena, all these are examples of the protozoa. So these bacteria, fungi, rotifer, actinobacteria and protozoa, these are the examples of the microorganisms which are generally involved for the making of compost. Then what is meant by compost? Compost has another name that is called as the humus. That is called as the humus, because these microorganisms which are present inside the soil, when any living organism, whether it may be plant or it may be animal, when get died, it lie on the surface of the soil and their body of that plant or animal is degraded into a dark powder form. That powder form is called as a humus, or which is also called as a compost, and it is a rich source of nutrient, because all of you know that the body of living organism is made up of different macromolecule, protein, carbohydrate, lipids. Not only different macromolecule, but it also contains different type of minerals. So all these minerals of the plant or animal which get decompose, and that decomposed material of that living body is called as a compost, or which is also called as a humus, which is a rich source of nutrient, and that can be made available on the surface of the soil. Again, all the nutrient from that compost or humus get absorbed in the soil, and when the plant or the crop or the field crop grow there, it can use that nutrients from that compost or humus, and the growth of that particular plant can be increased. म्हणजे इथं काय सांगायचं आपल्याला, लिव्हिंग ऑर्गॅनिझमची बॉडी डेड झाल्यानंतर जे काही मटेरियल त्या ठिकाणी तयार होतं, दॅट इज कॉल्ड एज अ कॉम्पोस्ट और द ह्यूमस. Why it is important? Because it is a rich source of nutrient, because all nutrients, all important constituent of that body of that living organism is aggregate together in the form of this humus, and that humus then get mixed in the soil, and when crop grows there in that soil, it gives better yield to that crop. So these are called as the compost making biofertilizer, and the role of that microorganisms are bacteria, fungi, rotifer, actinobacteria and the protozoa. So this is again important microbes which make the compost, and this compost or this humus acts as a fertilizer in the crop yield or in the field of the crop to increase the yield. Now the fourth type of the biofertilizer, which is called as the cyanobacteria, or the another name of it is called as the blue green algae. So next, or the fourth type is cyanobacteria as biofertilizer. Okay, and in this we have to remember the examples of the cyanobacteria like Anabaena, Nostoc, Tolypothix, then Oscillatoria, etc. Okay. Another name is Plectonema. Now, cyanobacteria, which is also called as blue green algae. These cyanobacteria, where they are present, or one thing is that it is an example of kingdom Monera. Okay. We have seen in the kingdom Monera, the cyanobacteria, bacteria are the examples. So this cyanobacteria, which is also called as blue green algae, may be aquatic, may be terrestrial. पाण्यामध्ये पाहायला मिळतात, तुम्हाला लँडवर पाहायला मिळतात. They are aerobic, okay? They are photosynthetic, they are entofixer. They may be heterocystous or non-heterocystous. Now what is meant by heterocystous or non-heterocystous? We have seen that the structure in 11th standard, that the cyanobacteria has a filamentous body, okay, and in one of the cell of the cyanobacteria a special cell is there, and that cell is called as the heterocyst. That cell is called as the heterocyst, and that heterocyst is capable of absorbing the atmospheric nitrogen in it. So this cyanobacteria is also called as the entofixing bacteria, okay, किंवा interfixing blue-green algae. So important thing is that these cyanobacteria, particularly Anabaena, Nostoc, Tolypothrix, Oscillatoria, Plectonema, these are the bacteria. Some of them are the symbiotic, some of them are free living. Okay, so here we have to again remember the examples, that is the here Anabaena has association with the azolla, while the here one important thing is that some other have association with lichens. What is it? What is meant by it? So these cyanobacteria, which are aquatic, which are terrestrial, which may be photosynthetic, aerobic, heterocystous or non-heterocystous, means some has heterocyst which are called as heterocystous, some do not have heterocyst which is called as a non-heterocystous. So this cyanobacteria example is given here. Some are the symbiotic, some are the free living. For example, Anabaena is a blue-green algae which has always association with one of the fern, and that is the azolla. We have seen the example of fern from the Pteridophyta. So fern is one of the plant, and with that plant the name of that fern is azolla. This Anabaena always shows association with that fern. So Anabaena fixes atmospheric nitrogen and gives that nitrogen to this azolla fern, and instead of that azolla fern gives protection to this Anabaena, so it is called as symbiotic association. So other blue-green algae like the Nostoc, Tolypothrix, Oscillatoria, they shows association with the lichens. So these are the examples of this symbiotic association. Okay, and some blue-green algae or cyanobacteria are free living. They independently absorb atmospheric nitrogen and make it available to the plant. So here this cyanobacteria is also important because they can make available of this nitrogen to the plant, and that's why they are included in one of the category of the biofertilizer like cyanobacteria as a biofertilizer. Now we will discuss the last part as the fungi as a biofertilizer. So fungi are generally the name of that fungi which is involved as a biofertilizer is called as mycorrhiza. So last part is called as fungi as biofertilizer. Okay, here the fungi which is involved as a biofertilizer is called as mycorrhiza. So if the question is given that what is mycorrhiza, then you have to say that mycorrhiza is the fungus which is used as a fertilizer in the field. So keep in mind that this mycorrhiza, not all fungi acts as a fertilizer, but those fungi which acts as a fertilizer are called as the mycorrhiza. These mycorrhiza are always present in association with the roots of the plant, and in association with the root of plant they can form the fertilizer in the soil, that is called as a biofertilizer. Okay, Frank is one of the scientists who first discovered the role of mycorrhiza as a biofertilizer. Again here we have to see that here there are two types of the fungi. One is called as ectomycorrhiza and another one is called as endomycorrhiza. Okay, so ecto means outside and endo means inside. Some fungi forms a covering. So first thing is that these fungi which shows association with the roots of the plants. So when they are present with the root, they form the outer covering of this fungi is present, or the fungi grow on the outer surface of the root, that is called as ectomycorrhiza. And when fungi penetrate inside the root of the plant, then it is called as the endomycorrhiza. So difference is that ecto means the fungi which are present on the surface of the root, and endo means fungi which penetrate inside the root. Okay, so first point we will discuss ectomycorrhiza. All of you know that the term mycelium So what is meant by mycelium? Mycelium is the vegetative part of the fungus. Mycelium is the vegetative part of the fungus. This mycelium form the mantle. Mantle means covering on the surface of root, and due to which what happen, that root whose main function is absorption of water and minerals from the soil get increased due to the covering of the mycelium on it, and it increases that mycelium or that fungi increases the surface area of the root because it covers that root part, and due to which that root absorb more water, more minerals from the soil, okay, as compared to the normal root, and thus the vigor, the growth and the yield of that plant can be increased. Vigor means overall shape म्हणून आपण बॉडीचा साइज त्याची वाढते, ग्रोथ चांगल्या प्रकारे होते आणि yield तुम्हाला चांगल्या प्रकारे वाढलेलं पाहायला मिळतं. Sometimes this mycelium forms on the root a net, and the name of that net is called as, it is nothing but it is called as the hearting net. So one thing is there, hearting net. Then what is mean by hearting net? So see here, such a type of structure will be formed. It is called as a hearting net. Net म्हणजे आपण काय म्हणू शकतो, जाळं. So sometimes the mycelium, which is made up of different type of thread like structure called as hyphae. So this hyphae which form the mycelium spread on the surface of the root, that we call as a ectomycorrhiza. It increases the yield of the it increases the nutrient content of that root, or it is responsible for absorption of more nutrient, more water of that root from the soil. But here sometimes the hyphae of this mycelium from the group ectomycorrhiza penetrate the intercellular space of the cortex of the root. So here one thing is that hearting net is formed in the intercellular space of cortex. Now here you have to again go in the topic anatomy of flowering plant. If we take the section of the root, which layer can we observe? Outer is the epidermis, then cortex, then endodermis, pericycle, pea, xylem, phloem, like that layer are there, okay. So next to epidermis section in the root, outermost is epidermis, and next to epidermis there is a layer that is called as the cortex. So this is a section of the root, outermost layer is called as epidermis, and next to epidermis there will be cortex. So this hyphae of the fungi sometimes penetrate in this cortex region of the root, and where they are present, in between the intercellular space of cortex. Intercellular space means here these are the cortical cell, and in between these two cortical cell there is a space that is called as a inter means in between these two cortical cell. Here in between these two cortical cell there will be space, and in that space they form a ring that is called as a hearting net. Such a structure will be found in between the two cortical cell, and that is called as the hearting net, and found in the intercellular surface of the cortex. So here you have to remember that mycorrhiza are the fungi which are responsible for acts as a biofertilizer in the field. It is of two types, ectomycorrhiza. These are the mycorrhiza or the fungi which form the mantle on the surface of the root, due to which that root can absorb more water, more minerals, and increase the growth, yield and vigor of that plant. Sometimes these ectomycorrhiza penetrate inside the root in between the two cortical cells, that is called as the intercellular space, and where they form this structure that is called as a hearting net, or that net which is responsible for increasing the surface area of the root. And the last part is called as the endomycorrhiza. Endo means inside. What happens in this structure? In the endomycorrhiza, you can observe that there will be, here again I will draw the diagram. So this is the epidermis. If we take the section of the root, it is the epidermis, and inside the epidermis there will be cortical cell. So these are the cortex and the cortical cell. So the hyphae of this fungi grows inside this cortex. They grows inside this cortex, and in the cortical cell they form some vesicles. So if I enlarge this cortical cell. Inside this cortical cell there will be formation of the vesicles. Such a hyphae of the fungi penetrate inside this cortex. So this is the round structure is the cortical cell, and here the structure is formed that is called as vesicular arbuscular mycorrhiza. In short, it is called as VAM. Vesicular arbuscular mycorrhiza. That means hyphae of the fungi penetrate inside this cortical cell, inside the cortex, where they form the finger-like projection. They form different type of vesicle. Such mycorrhiza is called as the vesicular arbuscular mycorrhiza because they form the vesicles inside the cortex. They form the finger-like projection inside the cortex. So they are called as VAM. So vesicular arbuscular mycorrhiza is the full form of the VAM. So plant which has the VAM. Plant which has the VAM means the plant in which which has a root, and in that root there will be cortex, and in that cortex such a hyphae of fungi is there. It can grow in a less irrigated water. असे प्लांट की ज्याच्यामध्ये व्हॅम तयार झालेले आहे, असे प्लांट तुम्हाला कमी पाण्याच्या ठिकाणी ग्रो झालेले पाहायला मिळतात. अँड इट कॅन मेक द लेस प्रोडक्टिव्ह क्रॉप इन टू द मोर प्रोडक्टिव्ह क्रॉप. म्हणजे कमी इल्ड देणाऱ्या क्रॉपचं कन्वर्शन जास्त इल्ड देणाऱ्या क्रॉपमध्ये ते होऊ शकतं की ज्या प्लांटच्या रूटमध्ये तुम्हाला हे वेसिक्युलर आर्बिस्क्युलर मायक्रोरायझा पाहायला मिळतात. सो कॉमनली दोज प्लांट्स आर कॉल्ड ॲज द एयम फंगाय. So these fungi are called as aeum fungi. Aeum fungi means arbuscular mycorrhiza. Arbuscular means finger-like projection तयार करणारे mycorrhiza. So it is called as arbuscular mycorrhiza. So important thing is here that VAM vesicular arbuscular mycorrhiza structure तयार करणारे endomycorrhiza आणि मेंटल सरफेसवर तयार करणाऱ्या रूटच्या एक्टोमायकोरायझा. काही एक्टोमायकोरायझा मधले फंगाय काय करतात, इंटरसेल्युलर मध्ये पेनिट्रेट होतात, इथे दाखवले आपण, आणि हार्टिंग नेट तयार करतात. पण एंडोमायकोरायझा काय करतात, दे ग्रो इनसाइड द सेल ऑफ द कॉर्टेक्स अँड फॉर्म्स द वेसिकल फिंगर लाइक प्रोजेक्शन that is called as arbuscle. So they are called as vesicular arbuscular mycorrhiza. So today we have finished this part, that is the role of microbes as a biofertilizer. The important point which is remain that we will discuss in the next lecture. Thank you.